Hello and welcome to the end of Robotics for All's LEGO Robotics curriculum. This is day 7 and this is the last day of the LEGO Robotics curriculum, so congratulations, you made it. This was a lot of learning and we hope you had a lot of fun with the curriculum. So as with all videos in the past, and this is the final time you'll be hearing this in this curriculum, if you need any extra time with your videos, feel free to pause them and then resume them when you're ready. So this video is going to go over the answers to the challenge that you were doing today. And there are 8 unique challenges, and the way this is going to work is I'm going to explain how I would attempt the problem, and then I'm going to then make the program myself and explain as I go along. So something to note is that there might be multiple ways to program in this, but the way I might be showing it might be correct, but there might also be other ways. So if your program looks a little bit different than mine, but it still works, wonderful. We've both found possible answers to the curriculum here. So starting with challenge 1. The robot must wait until its touch sensor is bumped before moving forward and then backward the same distance. So let's break this down into 3 parts. So the first part is wait until its touch sensor is bumped. And when it says wait, that automatically tells me in mind I need a wait block. And it says moving forward and moving backward the same distance. That's pretty important. So let's do wait until its touch sensor is bumped. Let's go into our programming software, and it says wait until a touch sensor is bumped. So I need a wait block here, and it says wait until touch sensor. So we go touch sensor right here, compare state bumped. Bumped is this one right here, number 2. So now we have the touch sensor waiting until it's been bumped, and we must do the next step. So let's look at what the next step is. Move forward and then backward the same distance. So these are blocks you've been using the entire 7 weeks of your curriculum. Is the move tank. And it doesn't specify how far you want it to move forward. It just says move forward and backward the same distance. So you can just leave it as is. It can move forward 1 rotation. That's perfectly fine. Move backward the same amount. Now we have to use another block. And as we've been practicing the entire curriculum, if you wanted to use backward, we need negative or minus power. Bam. That's it. Your program is complete. So it's going to wait. It says a wait block here. It's going to wait until the touch sensor is bumped. It's going to move forward a certain amount, and it's going to move backward the same amount. So these numbers right here don't have to be 1. They can be like 2.5. But if 1 is 2.5, then the other must also be 2.5, because it has to move forward and backward the same distance. It doesn't matter whether you chose 1 rotation or 5 rotations, it still works. But the only condition we have here is that it cannot run into the EV3 bin. So if you choose like 100 rotations, then it's going to bump into the EV3 bin. And sorry, that's not going to work. So let's move on to our next one. The robot must wait until its touch sensor is bumped, move forward until it's roughly within 10 centimeters or 3.9 inches of the EV3 bin number 1, and then stop in place. So let's compare challenge 1 and number 2. Let's think about what's the same. The robot must wait until its touch sensor is bumped before moving forward. That, the first part, is the exact same. The robot is going to wait until its touch sensor is bumped and is going to act. So we don't need to delete anything here. We just need to delete these 2. We just need to delete the 2 move blocks, because the waiting until part is the exact same. So let's not delete this, otherwise you're going to have to reprogram it. Now it comes to where it's a little bit different. It says move forward until it is within roughly 10 centimeters. So if it says move forward until, that means I need another wait block. It needs to continue moving forward until. And to do that, we need to move forward with the move tank block, and we need to make this on. Because we don't know whether the EV3 bin is 2 rotations away. We don't know whether it's 4 rotations away. We just wanted to go forward. And until means I need another wait block. Go forward until it sees the bin. And that means I need an infrared sensor, because the infrared sensor is the only one that detects distance. It doesn't say touch. It says move forward until within 10 centimeters. There's no other sensor that can detect that besides the IR sensor. So the infrared sensor, compare, proximity. Here you have it. And a good way to think about this, 100 is about 100 centimeters. So let's just make it 10. And it doesn't need to be exact. So if this is with about 4 inches, 10 centimeters, that's perfect. So once it's within this, now we're going to go forward once it's there. And what does it need to do once it's within 10 centimeters of it? It said stop in place. So we need to tell our motors to turn off because we're still having them go forward. So to do that, we just need to move tank block and then off. And then this is it. You're done with challenge 2. Moving on to challenge number 3, let's look at what it is. The robot must wait until touch sensor is bumped, move forward until it is within roughly 10 centimeters, 3.9 inches of EV3 bin 1, stop, turn around, and move forward until the touch sensor is bumped again back at the start of the box. Same thing as last time. Let's look at what's the same. And for me, what I see is that the first part is exactly the same. The robot must wait until a touch sensor is bumped, move forward until it is within roughly 10 centimeters of the bin, and then stop in place. Here, it's the same thing in the beginning. The robot must wait until a touch sensor is bumped, move forward until it was within roughly 10 centimeters of EV3 bin 1, stop. So this part right here is an exact replica. It's the exact same. This is challenge 2, what I've highlighted right here. So that means everything here we still need. We don't need to delete anything here this time. You can just keep this. Now we just need to focus on what we need to program in the second part. Turn around and move forward until touch sensor is bumped again. So let's do the first part, turn around. And to do that, we need to move tank block, and I'm sure you know by now that in order for it to turn around, you need to have one motor moving backward and one motor moving forward. And to do that, we need to have a minus power on one of the motors. And it doesn't matter whether you choose to use the minus power on the right motor or the left motor, as long as one is turning backward and one is moving forward, this robot is going to turn around. And we know now that to turn it all the way is going to be about 2.73 rotations to make a full turnaround. And if that number is not exact, don't worry about it, as long as it's turning around in some way. So that's our turnaround part. And now the next part is move forward until the touch sensor is bumped again back in the start box. So move forward. This is almost the exact same thing as this part here, except it's waiting for the touch sensor. So we need another wait block. So it's going to go forward on, because like I said before, we don't know whether it's 2 rotations away or 4 rotations away. It's going to keep going on. And then we need to wait until the touch sensor is bumped, because it says until the touch sensor is bumped again. So the control here is going to be touch sensor, compare state, and bumped. Let's use bumped. And then off, because we want it to stop. If we don't tell the motors to turn off, it's going to keep going. It says move forward until, so we want it to stop. Okay, so let's do stop. We need to use move tank, and then make sure to put it after the wait block, and then make it off. And now you have it. This is challenge number 3. It's complete. So, moving on to challenge 4, this is a little different. The robot must drive forward continuously, stop at the red tape, pick up the tire, and move backward to base. So this is very different from the last program. So let's just delete all of this. We're going to have to start over, unfortunately. So here, the robot must drive forward continuously, stop at the red tape, pick up the tire, and move backward to base. So there are kind of 2 ways you can do this. You can either measure out the distance from base, or you can use a wait block. So let's do the first method. Let's measure out the distance from the base to the robot. And in that case, you would just need to use a move tank block and then kind of guess and check how many rotations it is from base to the robot, or to the tape. So I don't know, it depends on your unique setup, but I'm just going to guess, let's say 5 rotations. But maybe for you it could be 5.5 rotations. It could be 3 rotations. So you really need to plug this in and figure out what it is. So we're just going to move forward, and then once it's at the red tape, we want it to pick up whatever the tire is. So we need to use the medium motor, and the medium motor, we know that it's 0.15 rotations to pick it up. So now you have the medium motor closing, and it's picking up that tire right here. and then move backward to base. So yes, you can measure it out. So there are kind of, again, two ways to do this. Is that you could either just leave it like this. We want minus power because it's moving backward, and minus means the robot is moving backward. This is going to go backward forever, and then you can just pick it up. Another way you can do this, you can just copy and paste this and just make it minus 75 so it goes back the same amount. Then it will stop by itself. Either way works. So this is method number 1. Now, the second way you can attempt to solve this problem right here is that you could actually use a wait block. You're going to drive forward continuously, stop at the red tape, pick up the tire, and move backward to the base. So the way you do this is kind of standard. We've been doing this a lot. So you're going to drive forward forever. The robot is going to drive forward forever, and we have to make it drive forward forever because we don't know how far it is away. And it's going to wait until it goes color sensor, compare color. So it's going to wait until the tape sees the red tape. And then once it sees the red tape, well, the first thing we need to do, we need to stop the motors. Otherwise, it's going to keep moving forward, and that doesn't help us. So we're going to do move tank off. Okay, so move tank off. It's going to drive forward forever until it sees red, and then it's going to stop. And then we want to pick up the tire and move backward to base. So pick up the tire is the exact same in the last example. Then it goes 0.15 rotations. That's how many rotations it is for the medium motor claw to close shut. And then we want to move backward. And like the last one, there are two ways you can make it move backward. You can either just do something like this on minus 75 because we want to go backward. And it will just keep going backward, and you can pick it up when it reaches base, or you can just on for rotations and put in an arbitrarily large number, like 6 rotations. This is challenge number 4. Let's move on. So let's go to challenge number 5. The robot should follow the blue tape and stop at the red tape. So this has 2 parts. It's going to go forward and when it's following the blue tape and stop at the red tape. So when I see follow the blue tape, I know right away we need a line follower program. When it says stop at the red tape, I know that it must repeat the line follower program until it sees red. So that means that we need a sensor controlled loop block. Let's delete this. And we need a sensor controlled loop block because we want it to repeat the line follower until it sees red. And we just need to change it to right here, color sensor color, and then we know that it's default by red. And now we're going to put the line follower program in the middle. And I've explained the line follower program enough in previous programs, so I'm not going to keep you waiting. I'm just going to do this myself here. If you need an explanation of the line follower program, please watch the previous video. And that's where I'm going to explain it in detail. But for now, I'm just going to make it. So and if you have any questions about this line follower program, watch the day 6 video, and that's where I explain in detail how this line follower program works. And we want it to follow the blue line. Okay, so this is the first part. We're going to have it following the robot until it sees the red tape, and we want it to stop. So that means we just need to use a stop motors function here. So move tank off, the motors are going to be turning off. That's it. So if you remember your line follower and you remember your sensor controlled loop blocks, this should be pretty straightforward. We did this last day as well. It's almost the exact same challenge. Moving on to challenge number 6. The robot should follow the blue tape, stop at the red tape, and pick up the tire. Let's look at what's similar, and let's look at what's different between this challenge and the last challenge. And the only thing that's different is the last part. Both say the robot should follow the blue tape and stop at the red tape. And then the only part that's different is pick up the tire. So to pick up the tire, we need to use the medium motor because that's what controls the claw. And we know that it's 0.15 rotations for it to close. So 0.15. Done. So it's going to follow the line, stop at the red, and pick it up. So as you can see, this might seem like a really complex thing, but it's really only a 1 block difference between challenge number 5. You don't need to delete anything. You don't need to program anything new. It's right there. It's plain and simple. So, challenge number 7 is the robot should do everything in challenge 6, but proceed to turn around and follow the blue tape back to the start and stop at the yellow tape. So, it already says it needs to do everything that's happening in challenge number 6. The only thing that's different is that it needs to turn around, then follow the blue tape back to the start, and it needs to stop at the red tape. So, proceed to turn around. We need the robot to turn around. So that means we need to move tank, and we need to go minus 75, because we want, in order to turn around, we need one motor turning backward, one motor turning forward. And we know from past testing that the turnaround function is about 2.73 rotations here. So it needs to turn around for about 2.73 rotations, and this will enable the robot to fully turn around. So, there we go. Now it's turn around. Now let's look at the next part. It needs to follow the blue tape back to the start and stop at the yellow tape. So this part right here is the exact same as this part over here. It needs to follow the blue tape, except this time it's stopping at the yellow tape. So effectively, we can just copy and paste the first part of the program. The only difference here is that it's stopping at the yellow tape. So we need to change, instead of having it red tape, we need to change it to yellow tape. So let me see, it's not, there we go. And now we're done with challenge 7. So as you can see, a lot of these challenges seem very complex, they seem really hard. But when you really think about it, and you really think what is similar and what's the same, as you can see here, this last part of the program, all you do is just copy the first part of the program and paste, because it's the exact same thing. It's just following a line, it's just stopping at a different color of tape. Okay, lastly, last challenge. The robot will move forward until it sees EV3 bin 3, stop, rotate to pick up the blue tape, and bring it back to base. So, I think we are done with our switches and our line followers here. We're going to transition to wait blocks. Again, delete all of this, and move forward until it sees EV3 bin. That language seems a little bit similar. I think I saw it earlier. It's just I saw it right here. Except move forward until it's within roughly 10 centimeters of EV3 bin 1. So it just says move forward until it sees EV3 bin 2, stop. So we need to drive forward forever because we don't know how far away this is. We need to drive forward forever. And then we need to wait until it sees something in front of it. So infrared sensor, compare, proximity, and let's do, to make it pretty close, let's say at 10. 10 is good. So it's going to go forward until it sees, the infrared sensor sees the EV3 bin in front of it. Then what is it supposed to do when it sees EV3 bin? Stop is the first thing. So stop motors, and do that, and go to move tank, off. Because our motors are continuing to run and we need them to stop first. And then we need to turn around. So we need them to rotate, not to turn around to pick up the blue tape. And if you look at the setup of this, is that it's going to be right to the right of it. So we need to kind of make a quarter rotation here. Quarter rotation here, and then what we got to do is we got to go here. We got to go move tank, and we want to make a quarter rotation. We want to turn right. So we want to turn right. It means you need the right motor moving backwards. So right motor is at minus 75, and a right turn is about 1.365 rotations. So it's going to make 1.365 rotations, and then what we want to do is we want to pick it up. So we're going to go right here, and it's going to pick up the claw, pick up the tire. So rotations, we know it's about 0.15 rotations for it to close that claw and pick up the tire. And then we wanted to make another partway turn, which is another 1.365 rotations in the right direction. So it's the exact same block right here. And then we wanted to go forward forever until it goes back to base. And we can just do on because you can pick it up once it's back at start. So this is it. Congratulations. You've completed the LEGO Robotics curriculum of Robotics for All. Hope you enjoyed learning a lot of things in this curriculum. Hope you enjoyed these videos. Hope they're useful, and hope you sign up for the next curriculum. Bye-bye.